The first item on our agenda is approval of the agenda. I'll move it.
Second.
Second by Radig. Hearing no discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Passes 4-0. Items 2 through 7 constitute a consent agenda of routine action items to be considered by one motion. Items pass unanimously unless a separate vote is requested by a board member. Item 2 is approval of the minutes of the November 19th meeting. Item 3 is approval of the claims. Item 4 from Human Resources includes A, approval of memorandum of personnel transactions, and B, authorization to initiate the hiring process. Item 5 from the Chief Deputy Treasurer includes A, approved property tax refund request for parcel ending in 1004 in the amount of $2,115. Item B is the same for parcel ending in 8007 in the amount of $1,923. Item C is the same for parcel ending in 5017 in the amount of $2,039. Item D is the same for parcel ending in 4007 in the amount of $1,381. Item 6 from Secondary Roads is approval of utility permit for underground fiber optic utility and county right-of-way for Fibercom.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to request that item number 2 be voted on separately. Or number 3, I'm sorry, the approval of the claims.
Okay, we'll defer voting on that until the consent agenda is passed.
Appreciate it.
Item 7 from the Board of Supervisors is authorize the chairman to sign Amendment 1 to Contract 22-HQJP-10016 with Ag Processing Incorporated and Iowa Economic Development Authority. This is related to project metrics that the board previously entered into agreement with, and I believe it was Supervisor Nelson, the chamber, that contacted us and let us know to update this based on the reality of the project. And I've actually received this by email through Adobe Sign, but I'm not authorized to sign without the board's approval. So with this approval, I will do that on the Adobe Sign as well as the paper copy. So minus item number 3, is there any other discussion on the consent agenda?
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Motion by Raddick, second by Taylor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Passes 4-0. We will take item 3 separately. What is the discussion here?
So item 3, the claims contain under Board of Supervisors and Office, item 56001, $200,000, an allocation to the Law Enforcement Center Authority. This grows the maintenance fund to $1.4 million. I know that it is in the lease. This is not any criticism of anybody who supports this. It's just that unbeknownst to most taxpayers, this has been going on for the 4th year, and I don't feel that with as much money as it is unfettered and unregulated without checks and balances that are necessary to the lease agreement. And then also coupled with the fact that admirably, Supervisor Nelson continued the good fight last week to not have the LAC Authority employ a project manager 4 months past substantial completion at a rate of $32,000 a month, nearly 4 months after, with an obvious conflict of interest that it's a good idea to continue to give this much money. And so I want to vote no on either the claims as a whole or separate it out if there's anyone else that wants to join on that. So those are my 2 cents.
Dr. Scaff, how would you like the minutes to reflect this if we know it's for one particular line item? That there's disagreement
He can
here.
abstain on that one item, and I can note that in the minutes.
Is there, I heard more of a want to vote against.
Correct.
Than abstain.
Well, and basically, this would show as pulled from the consent agenda, and then most likely passes 3-1.
It has been pulled from the consent agenda, and it should be voted on individually for item 3.
Yes.
The question is, should it be pulled for that individual claim to be pulled out and voted on alone, apart from the rest of the claims? Is that the question
That's my
posed?
question.
Okay.
I think it will be clear if we pull it out and do it separately, so we can indicate in the minutes.
Okay,
one vote on everything with the exception of the 200,000 and one vote on the 200,000.
okay. Are you clear on which line item is being discussed?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Then I'll move the claims minus the line item that's been referenced.
Second.
Second by Taylor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Passes 4-0. And I will move the claim in question.
I'll second it. Just knowing this was on the horizon, reading through the contract, if we aren't paying claims when they're due, there's a 12% interest. And I wouldn't want to see us have to pay that. There are steps in the future that maybe the board looks at, giving a written notice to suggest that we feel like changes need to be made before paying the rent in the future. But I understand the vote is more of a protest and, draw light to the subject. And by the time that the board decides anything on it, it'll be a different group of people sitting up here. But, obviously research that lease agreement and know what it means, so.
Okay, on the motion by myself, second by Raddick. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Passes 3-1. Taylor opposed. Item 8 from Secondary Roads for action includes item A, approval of plans for project number parent 602.
Hello, Laura Severs, Woodbury County Engineer. This project is replacing a steel I-beam bridge with timber approaches. It was built in '81 and has about 270 ADT, so 63 feet long by 19 feet wide, so it'll be a great improvement for this project. This is on the east side of Pearson. And we're replacing it with 90 by 30 continuous concrete slab bridge. And so we would just be looking for approval of the plan set. It was designed by, I think, HGM.
I'll move it.
Second.
Laura, I think this was a bridge that was done with grant money that the city of Pearson
Yep.
secured from the federal government, is that correct?
Yes.
And then I think, are you guys working on taking that hill down or redoing how that bridge meets that hill as it comes?
Correct.
Okay, 'cause that's been a bad intersection, so there's
Yeah.
a lot of people looking forward to this work being done.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And we'll just go around Pearson. We'll do a detour around Pearson, not through it or anything like that, so to keep the truck traffic away from the school and such, so.
Sure.
Yep.
Wonderful, thank you.
Any other discussion?
This has been in the 5-year plan, and it's been something we've discussed a lot for, community of Pearson, so.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say nay. Passes 4-0. Item B is approval of federal aid project agreement with Iowa DOT for project numbered parent 151.
All right. So this bridge is just east or just west of K-49 on D-12. It is an existing, very small bridge, 26 by 28 concrete slab, built in 1967. We have a little bit more ADT on that. We have 628 vehicles a day on this road. And again, usually most of our bridges are going to be longer, and it is. It's going to be a 90 by 33 pre-stressed concrete beam bridge. And at this point in the project, we are just trying to get the federal aid project agreement with the Iowa DOT. So that's using all Iowa DOT funds for the construction of the bridge, but we would pay for the right-of-way acquisition and any design fees.
I'll move it.
Second.
Oh. Second by Nelson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Passes 4-0. Thank you. Item 9 from the Board of Supervisors, Mr. Taylor, for information, is information concerning the plaque for the Dennis D. Butler Boardroom.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So after the Board of Supervisors designated the Dennis D. Butler Boardroom, Building Services Director Kenny Schmitz gave us this rendering. It's excellent, it's moving, and a fitting reminder. I don't know if it can be pulled up there, but I thought I'd read the verbiage if that's okay. And somebody more artful than myself came up with the words. But it says, "A man of financial savvy and bountiful communication who turned challenges into opportunities, Dennis showed effusive fidelity toward Woodbury County with his work for 47 years, 1977 to 2024. We are forever grateful for the time we had with him and for the legacy of long-term success that we forged together." And I love this quotation that only Dennis would say. We have a lot to be proud of here. So I thought that that was great, and it looks like this. So if you can see this. So thank you very much.
Yes, I'm proud the board is doing this. I'm proud that it's going to be displayed for a long time. I was happy to contribute some of those artful words, and it was meaningful to me to do so.
Well said. Thank you.
And I agree, the quote is exactly what I would, there's no better quote to sum up what he's said to all of us and to the public. So, thank you for facilitating that, Kenny, and getting that installed. Any other discussion? All right. We can't display it on the TV, but it'll be displayed in the Dennis D. Butler Boardroom for 50, 100 years. So that's where everyone watching this recording can go see it. Moving on to item 10 from the Board of Supervisors, myself, also for information. This is a discussion of appointment of a Woodbury County representative to the Northwest Iowa Regional Housing Authority. I'm just putting this on the agenda so we are all aware of it. It was addressed to me. This is regarding a vacancy after the term of Auditor Gill resigned his seat on this, and so if anyone had any discussion they wanted to have on how we would replace this, if it was from the auditor's office or the board office, I would just invite that right now. If there is no discussion, I just wanted to put it all before us so we are aware of this vacancy.
Would there be conflicts or maybe some collaboration if you made it the person that's also designated to Wickertiff? Because it's also housing related. That might make some sense in the future. I don't know what the meeting schedule was for this because that was something that was always in the auditor's purview, and he wanted to do that, and so I guess I don't really know much about the responsibilities of this position and what they're expected to do, but it seems like housing with housing would make sense.
Any input perhaps from you, Dr. Scaff, with the auditor's office having?
I have not had time to look into this, the historical information regarding the appointment, so I'll just need a little more time if we bring it back for the appointment.
Yeah, I agree. If there's no reason that there would be a conflict, then it would make sense as a possible committee assignment, but it doesn't seem like it needs to be a supervisor, and there's also plenty of commissions for supervisors. So if we don't feel strongly about it on the board, then it might be a collaborative effort between the board and the auditor's office to come up with an applicant.
Maybe, and so
We have our applicant coming up to the microphone right now, County Treasurer Tina Bertrand. Oh, it's on for information. I can't appoint you today, but next week.
I'm just kind
We
of
could call a
wondering,
special meeting.
That's true.
I'm just wondering why if it's something that historically is something that is always the auditor and the board of supervisors, or if it's opened up to everybody in the county or other department heads or other elected officials. I don't know the history behind it, and obviously Auditor Gill held the position for a long time. But I would echo even some of the things that Supervisor Raddick talked about is if there's conflicts of interest. I mean, from a housing perspective, in terms of low income and things that are going on in the community, there's people at the treasurer's office, myself included, that would like to know if there's other programs to help people out. Some of the things that I think I've floated some emails around regarding suspended taxes and some of the other items that we want to make sure our community is aware of, and that they're applying for all the, any credits that they have available to them and help them in any way. Can't say that I'm necessarily offering to do it, but I mean, it is something that I would give consideration if I knew that there wasn't a conflict of interest. But, I don't want to keep somebody else from doing it either, but just a question that I would have.
So, using the power of technology, I found their website, and reading through what they do, this would be something that we're kind of doing through Community Action Agency. So if we can designate anybody, maybe we should check with Jean Logan to see if that would be a position or something that she would like to do. It's already kind of in her bag of tricks, so.
Thank you.
Thank you. Karen, could you please reach out to Jean and start that conversation? Otherwise, I agree. Treasurer's office employee would make sense as well if there's no conflict. And I don't recall a ton of committee reports from Auditor Gill on this during meetings. So that's why I'm bringing it up. Thank you for that discussion. Item 11 from the Deputy County Auditor, Dr. Scaff, for action is approval of the annual urban renewal report for FY '24.
I think I may have a couple extras there. So our annual urban renewal report is due to be approved by motion by December 1st. So that's what I'm asking for today. I think that this used to go through the consent agenda from last year, but being new to submitting this report, as it is a budget director created report, I worked with the state and our auditor to make sure that things are accurate here. So this is regarding our TIF projects. We currently have 2 TIF projects. From my research, we have the road project, which is to cover the gravel, which we received a GO bond to help pay for that. The agreement just to get the new supervisors on track with what was agreed upon, and the new county engineer, is that the engineer's office will pay $300,000 of the GO principal and interest, and the TIF funds are requested to pay for the remaining balance. And that item, you can see if you scroll through your third actual page, front side, is the amount of funds that were expended for that TIF project out of the TIF increment, which is $791,250, along with the $300,000 from secondary roads paid for the GO bond for the gravel project. Then the other project that we have is Platinum Grain, which we had a rebate agreement that we agreed to pay for 10 years for, I believe it was a grain facility for this area. And this is the last year, fiscal year '24, so there will be no more rebate payments for that. So that one is marked as complete as of fiscal year '24. That was $70,872. The front page of this report is going to show the TIF fund balance, beginning balance, expenditures and revenue, total expenditures, So the remaining balance within the TIF fund as of the end of fiscal year '24 being June 30th is $118,414. In theory, you receive the TIF increment fund and make the GO payment. So in theory, there wouldn't be a huge running balance in that fund. And when we create the increment amount that we request, it's based on an estimate of what the levies are going to be, so that amount fluctuates a little bit. This last number that you see on the front page is the outstanding TIF obligations. That's the GO bond that we are paying off with the TIF increment funds. So we have just over 6 million in the county's TIF portion of that. Secondary roads is going to have 300,000 times, I'm sorry, Laura, I don't have that figure in front of me, but I can get it to you because that's an additional amount that will be paying off that GO debt. So with that said, I have one more form to give you for signature, but I just wanted to see if you have any questions about this annual urban report, TIF in general, as far as how that fund is functioning, or anything of that sort.
This is something we talked about last week, and you said you were working on it, and, looking through this looks very uniform with what Dennis had done in the past. And I thought Platinum Grain was falling off this year, which it is. I think you got at least seven more payments from secondary roads. Didn't we do a 10-year?
I believe so, yeah.
So, yeah, it looks great. Thank you for your work on this, and I suppose you got the AFR next, and
The AFR is completed, and that does not have to be passed by motion. The state did say that it may be good practice just to have it on the agenda for information. I'm more than happy to put it on there if you guys would like me to, but it is completed. It has been posted to publish to the 3 papers, which is our requirement by December 1st. And I believe it's set to publish actually Thursday and Friday of this week on Saturday. Okay, so it will be published in all 3 papers before the 1st.
so, yeah, thank you for doing those, because that was just some new responsibilities in the last few months, and
Yes.
you've really been stepping up and doing a great job, so I appreciate it.
Okay, so if you'd like to pass this by motion, and then I have one more item.
I'll move it.
Second the motion by Raddick.
Do we need to move to receive this?
We're receiving it by approving it.
Oh, okay.
It'll be in the minutes.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Passes 4-0.
Okay, and this I kind of put in because it is directly related to this report, and this is, Dennis used to prepare this and give it to me, and this is telling us how much increment we're requesting from the project, from the Grow Woodbury Urban Renewal Area. And so for fiscal year '26, which is where we're going to budget, because '25 is already done, that'll be in the next report. We have $850,000 in principal plus $236,850 in interest, minus the $300 that will be paid by secondary roads. So the amount of increment we'll be requesting from Grow Woodbury Urban Renewal Area is $786,850. And we do need an authorized official. I believe that Chairman Ung is signing these in Dennis's place. If you'd like to receive and sign that, that would be perfect.
I'll move to receive.
Second.
Can we do one motion, or do we need to move to receive and then move to?
To receive for signature is fine.
Okay, is that okay?
Sure, I'll move to receive for signature, and
Motion by Raddick, second by Nelson. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Passes 4-0.
Thank you.
There you go. Item 12 is reports on committee meetings.
So Wednesday, SEDC, we approved 3 loans. it's looking good for some, development here in the area that, working with SBA and getting some things going. Things have been slow for a while, so it's kind of nice to have 3 loans on the agenda. Thursday, we had CERPA and CERTS. Both of those were, again, last meetings for me. But we got a lot of things done, equipment bought, things that are needed for the new building. I guess any questions on any of those? We're kind of in this transition with CERTS because it's doing really well on a lot of the contract side. But they're looking at trying to offer more van pooling, offer different revenue sources, different rides. We're looking at maybe planning ahead and creating satellite offices, for bus barns and locations, just to improve service in the region. But overall, I mean, in the time being there, I'm glad with the growth of CERTS and Simcoe and where it's at with the new building and new fleet of buses, and it's in a great position to move forward. They had a lot of great hires recently with some drivers, and there's some challenge with dispatch, but I hear it's a challenge to do that job, so.
From you. Okay, item 13, any citizen concerns? Seeing none. Item 14, any board concerns?
Not concerns, but some lighthearted and especially in the wake of the holidays, some good news. I had a text from actually some frequent listeners that we have on our YouTube channel, so I don't know if they're viewers, if they're watching tonight, but since Laura's here, we got somebody from Secretary Roads. I'd like to read what was said. My dad wanted me to tell you the gravel roads on his bus route are the best they have ever been. With all the rain we are getting, they have not been muddy. He said the Odo crew is doing a good job east and west of Odo, and the Anthem crew is doing a good job west of Anthem. So you don't always get to hear stuff like that, so it's nice when we finally do. The last thing I had was the Rural Route Ramble is coming up again, and that's going to be not this coming weekend, but the 6th and 7th of December, Friday, Saturday. And that's a great opportunity to get across Woodbury County and other counties, but Woodbury's the best, and go to a bunch of small towns and support local businesses and vendors. And so you can find them on Facebook if you want to get involved. It's a really fun event. I hope to be rambling myself this year. We'll see how smoky my wife's credit card is by the end of the weekend, but it's all for a good thing, right? So thank you.
Well, they have contactless ones now, so they don't need to smoke. I mean, it makes it real easy these days.
Yeah, they'll still be red hot, Matthew, I'm afraid. You haven't seen some of these ladies out there on the ramble. They are on a mission.
Any other board concerns? All right,